In a small village, a young man was draining the single most valuable resource he owned, unaware he even possessed it. His daily routine was a study in inefficiency. He spent his hours wandering from place to place, avoiding labor, and drifting through his days without a trace of direction. His father watched this crisis unfold. Rather than delivering another exhausted lecture on responsibility, he designed a practical experiment. He called his son over and handed him his specific tool for this test, an antique pocket watch he kept hidden away in a cupboard. He gave the boy a straightforward instruction. Take the object to the local market, show it to the people there, and ask them to calculate its worth. It was a standard economic baseline test. The father wanted to see exactly how the open market would price a tangible physical asset. The boy carried the watch into the center of town and began gathering data, presenting the timepiece to anyone willing to inspect it. The responses came back immediately, but they were inconsistent. Each villager appraised the object based on their own perception of its utility. This scatter plot graph illustrates the data. For this physical watch, the market returned offers of 500, 800, and 1,000 rupees. Looking at these shifting points, the volatility is obvious. Even with matching guesses, there was zero market consensus on its actual worth. Satisfied that he had completed the task, the boy returned home and reported the varying numbers to his father, assuming the exercise was over. This first test proved a basic principle of physical commerce. Material goods operate in an economy of subjective worth, where a price tag is a localized, fluctuating human opinion. The next morning, the father handed the watch back to his son. He told him to return to the market, altering the primary variable of the experiment. The boy was told not to ask for the price of the brass or the glass. He had to ask the villagers for the price of the time kept inside the watch. The prompt exposed a societal blind spot. When the boy asked his question, the villagers laughed at him, dismissed him as foolish, and stared in confusion. Feeling defeated, the boy eventually wandered into a small repair shop, where an elderly watchmaker understood the parameters of the question. The old man explained that time defies the laws of traditional economics. You could hand over millions of rupees in cash, and it still wouldn't purchase a single spent second of your life. While the open market is equipped to argue over the cost of metal and gears, it lacks any framework to quantify an invisible asset. The watchmaker broke down this invisible asset into a duality, pointing out that it operates with one negative constraint and one positive advantage. This pie chart demonstrates the negative constraint. Time is a fixed capacity cycle that continuously diminishes. It is non-renewable. Once a segment dissolves, it is mathematically impossible to recover. The positive advantage is utility. You retain autonomous control over the remaining capacity. Looking at these parallel allocations, time is the ultimate equalizer. Whether in poverty or wealth, the daily baseline is 24 hours. Resource allocation is the only differentiator. As the boy processed this data, the weight of his own wasted hours became a physical reality. His previous apathy evaporated in the face of this hard mathematical limit. He returned to his father and overhauled his routine. He abandoned his idle wandering and optimized his behavior to ensure his daily allowance was spent with deliberate purpose. This is the central paradox we all operate under. Time is distributed to us for free, yet it remains priceless. You are incapable of hoarding it. Your only option is to spend it. Every second that ticks by is permanently deducted from your ledger. Because of that hard physical constraint, the only true metric of success is how deliberately you choose to make your purchases.